and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Welcome to the African History Network show, right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. It is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, and we are live. This year is almost over with. We have to get used to saying 2022. So I had a feeling that a verdict would come back today in the murder trial, the trial of former officer Kim Potter in the killing of Daunte Wright. And sure enough, we got the news that she was guilty. A jury found her guilty on first-degree and second-degree manslaughter charges. So we're going to break that down and deal with what happened today in court. We'll share some of the press conference that took place afterwards. Minnesota State's Attorney General Keith Ellison and the family of Daunte Wright held a press conference to talk about the trial, talk about the conviction. Okay, so we'll deal with that as well. All right, now, also there's a story dealing with the wreckage of the last known slave ship, which is the Clotilda, the Clotilda Slave Ship from 1860. I saw a couple of stories from December 22nd on this. One from National Public Radio, one from National Geographic, one from NBC, and one from CBS News. The one I'm looking at here is from CBS News. Wreck of last U.S. slave ship remains mostly intact on Alabama coast, researchers say. Researchers studying the wreckage of the last U.S. slave ship buried in mud on the Alabama coast since it was scuttled in 1860 have made the surprising discovery that most of the wooden schooner remains intact. Including the pen that was used to imprison African captives during the brutal journey across the Atlantic Ocean. So we're going to talk some about this. This deals with the Clotilda Slave Ship, and I've done some research on the Clotilda. It's the last known slave ship in 1860, and it comes into Alabama. And this was at a time when the international transatlantic slave trade was illegal. Okay, because as we talked about here on this show before, the international transatlantic slave trade was outlawed. Congress passed the bill March 2nd, 1807, and it went into effect January 1st, 1808. January 1st, 1808. So the international transatlantic slave trade deals with bringing Africans into the country to enslave them. And that was illegal. And also going into Africa, capturing these Africans was illegal as well, based upon international treaties that different European nations entered into. Okay, so we'll talk about this on today's show as well. And as I said before, this helps to lay the foundation for a legal argument for slavery. It helps lay the foundation for a legal argument for reparations because of slavery, due to slavery. Okay, saying our ancestors worked for 246 years and didn't get paid is not a legal argument, because what law are you citing that they were supposed to be paid? Yes, we know it was morally wrong, but when you go to lawmakers, you don't go to argue morality, you go to argue law. The U.S., the reason why the international transatlantic slave trade was outlawed January 1st, 1808 is because of Article 1, Section 9, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution, which stated at the earliest that the international transatlantic slave trade could be outlawed would be January 1st, 1808. That's in the U.S. Constitution. This helps to lay the argument, the foundation for a legal argument for reparations, because all the Africans that were brought into this country from January 1st, 1808 up into July of 1860, when the Clotilda comes into Alabama, all that was illegal based upon federal law. In the court cases of white men who were caught trafficking Africans into the country, and they're arrested and prosecuted. But once again, we're not studying history and not studying law. So we'll deal with this. National Geographic has a big article on this. National Geographic has a big article on this. Somebody said, stop the big words. I'm not using big words. I mean, it may be big to you, but I'm not using big words. America's last slave ship is more intact than anyone thought. Archaeologists studying the Clotilda, which was identified in 2019, say the shipwreck may contain a wealth of well-preserved artifacts from barrels of food to human DNA. Okay, so now this is one from National Geographic has an extensive article on this. This is the one from National Geographic. I have to sign into my account to National Geographic. I have a subscription, but I'm in Google Chrome. I'm signed in the Firefox, but I need to sign in to Google Chrome. All right. Somebody needs to get a dictionary. So we'll talk about that. Then there's this other story. On yesterday's show, we talked about Netflix. Netflix depositing $100 million into 6 African-American owned banks. There's a story that I saw dealing with Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, Diddy. He has bought back Sean John. Okay. Now, I remember the Sean John brand back in 1998. He's bought back Sean John for $7.5 million. He's bought back Sean John for $7.5 million, which is a good thing. The brand is back in the hands of the original visionary, Sean Diddy Combs. All right. I still call him. I remember when he was Puffy. Okay. I remember when he was Puffy working for Andre Harrell. So, but it's back in the hands of the visionary. Sean Combs has been able to buy back the fashion brand he started in 1998. There's a good article from blackenterprise.com dealing with this. Okay. And, this deals with ownership and economic empowerment, things like that. So we'll talk about this. It's a good story from Black Enterprise. All right. Now on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it's correct your own behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Yeah, Uptown Records, Andre Harrell. And then he was, Clive Davis headed up Arista Records. As well. I remember there's a cover of, I think it was either Fortune magazine or Forbes magazine. And it had Diddy on the cover. And I remember Clive Davis said, Diddy works for me. Okay. Because a lot of people knew Diddy, but not as many people knew Clive Davis. It's like Clive Davis said, Diddy works for me. Okay. Research the white paper that Clive Davis had created from it was the Harvard Business School students. And there was a white paper that Clive Davis had created to advise them, and I can't remember which record company it was at the time, advised them how to take over the Black independent music scene. This was a paper that they consulted with Harvard Business School students about. I found out about this from Bob Law. There was an article from AtlantaBlackStar.com, and it was dealing with Bob Law, and Bob Law mentioned it. I think it was an article from AtlantaBlackStar.com. And Bob Law mentioned this book. He mentioned this book in the article. So I went and I ordered this book, and it talks about this white paper that they had created. Let me see if I can pull this up here. A lot of people don't understand how deep this really is. Listen right here, this article from Hip Hop and Politics. I think AtlantaBlackStar.com picked up this article, but it was one from Hip Hop and Politics, okay? And I know Bob Law. I've interviewed him before. I've interviewed him actually 3 times, I think. Once in person when I was in New York. Bob Law, History of Black Radio and the Removal of Black Militant Thought. Bob Law, History of Black Radio and the Removal of Black Militant Thought. And it talks about this right here. Bob Law pinpoints much of this removal with the release of the 1972 Harvard Report, officially known as Study of the Soul Music Environment. This was a white paper commissioned by Columbia. It was Columbia Records. I didn't want to say the wrong name. It was Columbia Records, and done by a group of Harvard business students on how to take over the Black independent music scene. Clive Davis was head of Columbia Records at the time. Bob Law details how that report coincided with other attempts in film and TV to eradicate, marginalize, and ridicule strident, politicized Black voice in the music and entertainment industry. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Kwanzaa is coming, and the TheAHNShow.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs. Order your Kwanzaa set today, which includes a kinara, candles, a mat, a cup, the African American flag, and a basket. Visit TheAHNShow.com, TheAHNShow.com. They have kinara sets, which include a candle holder, candles, a mat, and a cup. Kwanzaa is December 26th through January the 1st. Add the early bird discount code for 10% off your order placed before November 28th. Visit TheAHNShow.com and place your order today. TheAHNShow.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs to celebrate this African American Pan-African holiday. TheAHNShow.com.
Mental health and well-being have long been a taboo subject in the so-called African American community. So I enlisted the help of mental health experts, thought leaders, and activists to help kill the ghost of Willie Lynch and heal from post-traumatic slave syndrome.
We experience trauma a lot of times on a subconscious level. So sometimes something happens to us and we know that it's traumatizing, but we don't really recognize the extent of the trauma.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021. If you missed our show from December 21st, which was the winter solstice, go back and check that out as well. On our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. All right, I want to go to, we're going to go to clip number 1 here, Shakita, in just a second. And, all right, hold on, the screen froze up again. Stand by, everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so today we got the news that former Officer Kim Potter was found guilty on 2 counts of manslaughter, first degree and second degree manslaughter, in the killing of Daunte Wright. Okay. All right. We're back on Facebook and YouTube. So some of the legal analysts thought that Officer Kim Potter would be found guilty on second degree manslaughter, but not first degree manslaughter. And we'll break down the difference between the two as well. When I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, last Friday, I said, and I said here on this show, because after closing arguments, I thought she had a 50-50 chance of being convicted. Pretty 50-50 chance. What we found out today is that Tuesday morning, the jury had come to the conclusion that she was guilty of second-degree manslaughter, but they were still debating about first-degree manslaughter. Okay, so we're going to go to clip number one, Shakita. This is from the courtroom today. You're going to hear Judge Regina Chu, who did an excellent job of presiding over this case. You're going to hear Judge Regina Chu read the verdict. Let's go to clip number one.
Please rise. I'm now going to read your verdicts as it will appear in the permanent court records of Hennepin County. In the matter of State of Minnesota versus Kimberly Potter, court file number 27 CR 217490, we, the jury, on the charge of manslaughter in the first degree while committing a misdemeanor on or about April 11, 2021, in Hennepin County, State of Minnesota, find the defendant guilty. And the verdict was agreed to at the hour of 11:40 a.m. and signed by the jury person on 12/23/21. The verdict on count 2 is we, the jury, on the charge of manslaughter in the second degree, culpable negligence on or about April 11, 2021, in Hennepin County, State of Minnesota, find the defendant guilty. And that verdict was agreed to at 10:30 a.m. on 12/21.
Crowd when the verdict was read. She was pretty stoic. So it caused a lot of people to ask, well, where were all those tears that you shed when you were testifying, trying not to go to prison? All right. Now, I want to go to this piece here from New York Times. Kim Potter found guilty of manslaughter for Daunte Wright's death. New York Times has some good updates on this case. So the prosecution and defense had agreed that the police shooting was a mistake and that Ms. Potter had meant to draw her taser when she fatally shot Daunte Wright during a traffic stop. Okay. And this is a picture after the verdict was read. One of her defense attorneys has his head down. So the former police officer who said she mistook her gun for her taser when she fatally shot Daunte Wright during a traffic stop in a Minneapolis suburb was convicted on 2 counts of manslaughter on Thursday, a rare guilty verdict for a police officer that is likely to send her to prison for years. So on first degree manslaughter, she can get between 7 to 15 years in prison. And she was found guilty on first degree and second degree manslaughter. Now, the jury deliberated across 4 days. So it was about 27 hours of deliberation. And when we found out that the jury asked, what do we do if we can't come to a decision? What do we do if we can't come to a verdict? I wasn't necessarily scared. I felt that they would probably find her guilty on at least one of the counts because the evidence was overwhelming, especially when you go through and you look at the closing arguments from the prosecution and the fact that she did not render any aid to Daunte Wright. She was more concerned about going to prison. When the other officers arrived on the scene, she didn't immediately tell them what happened and that the car went down the street and crashed into another car or anything like that. Okay, she was focused on herself. So the jury deliberated across 4 days before agreeing on guilty verdicts for Kimberly Potter, a 49-year-old white woman who testified that she had never fired her gun in her 26 years on the police force. Never had to shoot anybody, never had to fire her gun in the line of duty. In her 26 years on the police force in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, until she shot a single bullet into the chest of Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old African-American man who had been driving to a car wash in April 2021. Now, as the verdict was read, Kimberly Potter remained looking briefly downward and then toward the jurors, but never crying as she had when she testified. Even the New York Times is saying, wait a second, you were crying, you breaking down crying, she was breaking, I don't want to say hysterical, but yeah, when you were testifying, but here she didn't shed a tear, at least that we saw. Now, maybe when they had her in handcuffs and took her out of camera shot, maybe she started crying then. Now, Judge Regina Chu, who I said before did a really good job in presiding over this case, Judge Regina Chu ordered that Ms. Potter be immediately sent to prison, and deputies led her out of the courtroom in handcuffs as one of her relatives shouted, "Love you, Kim." Now, her defense attorneys requested that she be allowed to go home for Christmas and things like this. Now, she's found guilty of first and second degree manslaughter. Judge Regina Chu said, you said, I have to treat her just like anybody else. I can't make exceptions for her. So she was found guilty. She has to go immediately to jail. She's awaiting sentencing. Sentencing is going to take place in February 2022. All right, we'll continue this on the other side of the break, and we'll let you hear a little bit of what happened at the press conference today after the verdict was read. You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Come and travel with me to a time long ago and place far away. You will experience high adventure and excitement. You are fighting alongside an ancient army in fierce battle. Feel the exhilaration of struggle and final conquest. My name is Maninkere, and I am both a prince and a priest in one of the most advanced civilizations humans have ever produced. I want you to ride with me in my chariot as I slay the barbarians who have come to invade my land. I invite you to sit at the conference table with the great Pharaoh Taharka and his ministers as they plan intrigue and use subterfuge to outmaneuver and defeat the enemy. Come back with me to the land of your ancestors, to the beautiful land of Kemet. So open the pages of this book and begin the adventure. Find out what happens in the book Maninkere Battles the Assyrians in the Nile Valley from author Makari Jones. Get your copy today at Amazon.com. African Spirit Cards specialize in the design and printing of high-quality African-centered note cards and stationery. African Spirit Cards breathes and rejoices in the African and African American experiences. They honor our African heritage in all that they do for you by proudly displaying the great motifs and ornamentations of the African world diaspora. They use African images, African proverbs, and many African languages to fully immerse their clients in the wisdom and history of and the connection to Africa. They understand the importance of having images around us that reflect who we are. These images also illustrate where we came from and what we desire to be. They are here to serve you. Follow them on Instagram at African Spirit Cards, that's African with a K. They have a wide selection. Check out their holiday selection at Etsy.com/shop/African Spirit Cards. That's Etsy, ETSY. You can give them a call at 313-995-3579, 313-995-3579. You can email them at JanelleDesigns@AfricanSpiritCards.com. That's JANAL designs at AfricanSpiritCards.com and place your order today.
910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, and we are live. All right, calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. If you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. We're at 6 days a week. This helps us keep doing the research and stay on the air, keep broadcasting. And then we also have the information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay, this is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN show, SHOW through Cash App. When you go to it, it'll say Michael and show my picture there. Now, the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History is having Kwanzaa all 7 days. So Kwanzaa starts December 26th. It's December 26th through January the 1st. So I will be there on Wednesday, December 29th. I'll be a vendor in the African marketplace. I'll be there Wednesday, December 29th. I'll be there Friday, December 31st and Saturday, January 1st. All right. Okay, hold on. What's going on here? Okay, so visit theright.org for more information. WRIGHT, theright.org. So visit theright.org for more information, and you can register for to attend one of the days of Kwanzaa at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. They're taking place basically, the Kwanzaa celebration is basically starting at 7 p.m. each day. But visit theright.org, WRIGHT, for more information. All right. I want to go back to the story we were dealing with before the break. And this is dealing with former officer Kim Potter being found guilty today on 2 counts of manslaughter. Now, let me bring this back up here. Okay, she's found guilty on 2 counts of manslaughter. If we go back to the article from the New York Times. So Daunte Wright had been trying to flee from Officer Potter and 2 other officers who were attempting to arrest him on a warrant. At trial, prosecutors conceded that the shooting was an accident, but they argued that Kimberly Potter had been so reckless that she should be imprisoned. They argued that she had been so reckless that she should be imprisoned. Now, Judge Regina Chu will sentence Kimberly Potter, who resigned 2 days after the shooting, at a hearing scheduled for February 2022. The standard sentence for the more serious charge, first-degree manslaughter, is a little more than 7 years in prison, and the maximum penalty is 15 years. Now, Daunte Wright's parents let out cries in the courtroom as the guilty verdict were read, and joined several dozen of Daunte Wright's supporters who celebrated outside of the courthouse in downtown Minneapolis. His mother, Katie Bryant, said today Minnesota has shown that police are not going to continue to pull their gun instead of their taser. And we made this happen. You made this happen. Daunte Wright made this happen. Okay. I want to go to, we're going to go to clip number 2 here, Shakita. This is from the press conference that took place after the verdict was read. Let's go to, and this is Minnesota State's Attorney General Keith Ellison you're going to hear. Let's go to clip number 2. All right. We'll get that queued up in just a second. Now, also, some people ask, what's the difference between first-degree manslaughter and second-degree manslaughter? So in the updates from the New York Times, they have a good article here dealing with the sentences for Kimberly Potter, the sentences she may face. And it breaks down also first-degree manslaughter. So one of the ways Minnesota law defines first-degree manslaughter is causing someone's death while committing or attempting to commit a lesser crime. Let me know when we have clip 2 queued up, please. A misdemeanor or gross misdemeanor.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. Go ahead.
My name is Keith Ellison. I'm the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota. At this moment, I ask us all to reflect upon the life of Daunte Wright and who he could have been had he had a chance to grow up. At 20, Daunte could have done anything. Maybe he could have gone into the building trades. Maybe he could have started a business. What we know is that he was a young, new dad, and he was so proud of his son, Daunte Jr. We know that he loved his mom, and he loved his dad, and he loved his siblings, and his big, beautiful family, and his whole life in front of him. And he could have become anyone. All of us miss out on who Daunte could have been. No one has missed him more than his parents, Katie and Aubrey, and their children. I'm very mindful today that there will be an empty chair at the Wright family dinner during the holidays, and that saddens me. And once again, I extend my deepest condolences to you. With the jury finding Kimberly Potter guilty today of manslaughter in the first degree and manslaughter in the second degree in connection with Daunte's death, we have a degree of accountability for Daunte's death. Accountability is not justice. Justice is restoration. Justice would be restoring Daunte to life and making the Wright family whole again. Justice is beyond the reach that we have in this life for Daunte. But accountability is an important step, a critical, necessary step on the road to justice for us all. I want to thank the jury for their careful attention and deliberation and for their service to the people of Minnesota. I want to thank all of the witnesses who testified and who came forward with what they knew about this case. I especially want to thank my remarkable team. When I took this case, I said it would be difficult to prosecute because history has shown that trying cases like this one is difficult. This team did not shy away from the challenge, and the people of Hennepin County and the American people and the people of Minnesota, what they saw in the courtroom was the fruit of many, many hours of labor and hard work and planning. For my office, I want to thank specifically Mr. Matthew Frank. I want to thank Aaron Eldridge. I want to thank Eric Miller and David Voigt and Dion Dodd. But this team wouldn't be much of anything if it were not for the amazing work of Joshua Larson, Raul Shaw, and Vernona Boswell. Thank you, Vernona. I also must thank colleagues who did not work on the legal matter, but worked on the community, and that is John Stiles, Keon Dosti, and everyone. So thank you to you all for your hard work. I also want to thank the many staff at the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension who worked on this case. The staff, of the Hennepin County Attorney's Office and Washington County Attorney's Office. Specifically, I want to thank Mr. Drew Evans and those who testified in this case, like Agent Phil, who did a fine job and who put in many long hours. We appreciate their service. The next step in this case is sentencing. And all I will say about that today is that we have to look forward to the court setting a calendar date for that hearing. And at that time, we will make our appropriate arguments within the context of the court hearing. I think we have a date, do we not? What is that one? Anybody remember the date? March 8th. My thoughts are also with Ms. Potter today. She has gone from being an esteemed member of the community and an honored member of a noble profession to being convicted of a serious crime. I don't wish that on anyone, but it was our responsibility as the prosecution, as ministers of justice, to pursue justice wherever it led, and the jury found the facts. My thoughts are also with those who work in law enforcement and public safety. We hold you in high regard, and we also hold you to high standards. We don't want you to be discouraged. Your community respects and appreciates you. We want you to uphold the highest ideals of our society and ideals of safety. And when a member of your profession is held accountable, it does not diminish you. In fact, it shows. It shows the whole world that those of you who enforce the law are also willing to live by it.
All right, we're coming up on the break. When we come back from the break, we're going to continue that. That's courtesy of Roland Martin Unfiltered. And you'll hear a little bit from Katie Bryant, Daunte Wright's mother. Will deal with the wreckage of the last known slave ship, the Clotilda, which was found, I think it was 2019. It was found, and some new information has come out on the Clotilda. And then we'll deal with Sean P. Diddy Combs, or Diddy, buying back Sean John. You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Kwanzaa is coming, and the TheAHNShow.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs. Order your Kwanzaa set today, which includes a kinara, candles, a mat, a cup, the African American flag, and a basket. Visit TheAHNShow.com, TheAHNShow.com. They have kinara sets, which include a candle holder, candles, a mat, and a cup. Kwanzaa is December 26th through January the 1st. Add the early bird discount code for 10% off your order placed before November 28th. Visit TheAHNShow.com and place your order today. TheAHNShow.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs to celebrate this African American Pan-African holiday. TheAHNShow.com.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our story, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30 plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, and we are live. All right. I want to go back quickly here to the press conference. This took place after Kim Potter was found guilty today, and you're listening to Minnesota State's Attorney General Keith Ellison. Let's go back to this clip, please.
And that's a good thing. It restores trust. Well, in the words of Danielle Sered is a noted author who writes on justice issues. Justice exists when all parties exercise their power in a way that is consistent with the humanity of everyone involved and in the interest of the greater good. The humanity of everyone involved includes the humanity of community members. It includes the humanity of police officers. And when that standard of justice is not upheld, it must be the job of the prosecutor to step up and then step in and attempt to uphold it and uphold the principle that no one is above the law and no one is beneath the law. Finally, my thoughts are with community of Brooklyn Center, residents, elected officials, and police officers, and all communities that hunger for better relations between police and community, and for everyone to get home safe at the end of the day. I hope today's verdict provides a measure of healing for all of them. Thank you. And we can take a question or two.
Joseph, this is Greg on the 27th hour. What was going through your mind?
That the jury was taking this seriously, that they were going through every bit of evidence, that they were not leaving anything to the side, and that they understood that this matter was of tremendous importance to the Wright family, but also to the Potter family, to the entire community. So I thank them for their service. Let's get Storms. They want questions for the Wright family. Is that okay? Or okay, sure.
I asked you guys what were you feeling when you heard the word guilty, and what are you feeling now? Have you processed? What's going through your head and heart right now?
Oh my gosh, the moment that we heard guilty on the manslaughter 1, emotions, every single emotion that you could imagine just running through your body at that moment. Kind of let out a yelp because it was built up in the anticipation of what would come while we were waiting for the last few days. And now we've been able to process it. We want to thank the entire prosecution team. We want to thank community support, everybody who's been out there that has supported us in this long fight for accountability.
What do you think of this time when you said last week?
I'd rather not answer that question.
All right. Okay. Pause right there. All right. Thanks. Pause it right there. Okay. That last question I couldn't make out what the reporter was asking, but you can watch that at Roland Martin on Facebook and YouTube, because Roland broadcasted the press conference live. Also, MSNBC has it as well, so you can check that out. Read this. So read the article from New York Times on this. Now, very quickly, if we go back to first-degree manslaughter and second-degree manslaughter, the difference between the two, and then we're going to get to this story about the Clotilda Slave Ship, the last slave ship that came into the U.S. in 1860. First-degree manslaughter, okay? One of the ways Minnesota law defines first-degree manslaughter is causing someone's death while committing or attempting to commit a lesser crime, a misdemeanor or gross misdemeanor, in a way that a reasonable person could foresee would cause death or great bodily harm. Specifically, prosecutors accused Kimberly Potter of causing Daunte Wright's death through the reckless handling or use of a firearm. Now, first-degree manslaughter is a felony punishable by up to 15 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $30,000. The standard prison sentence for someone without a prior criminal record, like Kimberly Potter, would be a little more than 7 years on first-degree manslaughter. Now, count 2 was second-degree manslaughter. She was convicted on both counts, first-degree and second-degree manslaughter. For second-degree manslaughter, one of the ways Minnesota law defines second-degree manslaughter is causing someone's death through culpable negligence by creating an unreasonable risk and consciously taking chances of causing death or great bodily harm. Now, prosecutors persuaded the jury that Kimberly Potter had done so in the use of second-degree manslaughter is a felony punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $20,000. Now, the standard sentence for a person without any previous convictions would be about 4 years on the lesser charge of second-degree manslaughter. But because Kimberly Potter was also convicted of a more serious charge, first-degree manslaughter, in connection with the same death, this count is unlikely to affect the total length of her sentence. Sentencing is going to take place in February, so we'll keep you updated on what happens there. Okay, so read this from New York Times. Kim Potter found guilty of manslaughter for Daunte Wright's death. Also, NBC News has a good article on this as well. Now, very quickly, let's go to this piece here from CBS News. This deals with the wreckage of the last known slave ship, which is called the Clotilda. And Cudjoe Lewis was on the Clotilda a few years ago. Information came out about Cudjoe Lewis. And there was an interview that Zora Neale Hurston did with Cudjoe Lewis that was just released in the last few years. Also, the author, Zora Neale Hurston. Now, wreck of last U.S. slave ship remains mostly intact Alabama coast, on Alabama coast, researchers say. This is from December 22nd, 2021. Now, researchers studying the wreckage of the last U.S. slave ship called the Clotilda, buried in mud on the Alabama coast since it was scuttled in 1860, and that's the year before the Civil War starts, have made the surprising discovery that most of the wooden schooner remains intact, including the pen, that the area, the holding area, the pen that was used to imprison African captives during the brutal journey across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, while the upper portion of the two-masted Clotilda is gone, the section below the deck where the captured Africans and stockpiles were held is still largely in one piece after being buried for decades in a section of river that hasn't been dredged, said maritime archaeologist James Delgado of the Florida-based Search Inc. Now, at least 2/3 of the ship remains, and the existence of the unit and the existence of the unlit and unventilated slave pen built during the voyage by the addition of a bulkhead where people were held as cargo below the main deck for weeks raises questions about whether food and water containers, chains, and even human DNA could remain in the hull, James Delgado said. Now, what's interesting, so at the time this ship comes in, bringing Africans into the country is illegal. That was outlawed January 1st, 1808. James Delgado said in an interview, it's a stunning revelation. Now, they burned the ship to hide it, okay? They burned the ship to hide it because they had U.S. ships on the seas looking for slave ships, and if you got caught, you'd be captured and prosecuted. The discovery enhances the research value of the Clotilda's remains and sets them apart from all other wrecks. The finding was confirmed in a report that was provided to the Associated Press and led to the site becoming part of the National Register of Historic Places in November. Now, let's see here. I'm going to go to this part. The Clotilda was the last known ship to transport African captives to the American South for enslavement. Nearly 90 feet in length, it departed Mobile, Alabama for an illegal trip to purchase people decades after Congress outlawed such trade in 1808. That goes back to Article 1, Section 9, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution. The international transatlantic slave trade had been outlawed. The U.S. entered into international treaties, just like Great Britain and Spain and things like this. Okay. All right. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching for a couple more minutes. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and I'll post there when I'll be at the Charles Wright Museum for the Kwanzaa celebration. Register for my online courses. Right now, it's correct wrong behaviors, not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace. All right. Okay, let's continue here. All right. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy Kwanzaa. Harry's Kwanzaa, which means happy Kwanzaa. Okay, let's continue here. An African American business owner is supposed to name your business here on the thread of the broadcast, and we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Our current promotion is buy 1 month, get 2 months free. Email us at AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, and we'll post the information here in just a minute. Okay, let me go back to this. All right, so the ship had been sent, the Clotilda had been sent across the ocean on a voyage financed by a wealthy businessman, a white businessman whose descendants remain prominent in Mobile, Alabama. It was actually a bet that he placed. He placed a bet that he could send the ship to West Africa, capture Africans, and navigate around the authorities coming to the U.S. and actually bring them in. It was a bet. That's why those Africans were captured and brought to the U.S., because the white man made a bet that he could do it, because it was illegal at this time. This is why we have to understand history. It was illegal to bring Africans into the country. It was still legal to own slaves within the U.S., and you could still trade slaves, auction them off, things like this in the states where slavery was still legal. Some states had already abolished slavery. Okay. Illinois abolished slavery in 1818. Pennsylvania abolished it around 1780. Pennsylvania Gradual Abolition Act. The first state to abolish slavery was Vermont in 1777, 10 years before the Philadelphia Convention. By the time the Philadelphia Convention takes place in 1787, 5 states had already abolished slavery. They either abolished the international transatlantic slave trade, abolished it altogether. Massachusetts had abolished slavery. So this is why we really have to understand this history. So the Clotilda's captain transferred his human cargo off the ship once it arrived in Alabama and set fire to the vessel to hide evidence of the journey, because it was illegal for that ship to come in. But most of the ship did not catch fire and remained in the river. Shown on navigational charts since the 1950s, the wreckage was publicly identified as that of the Clotilda in 2019. Okay, 2019. And has been explored and researched since then, James Delgado said. Now, the state of Alabama has set aside $1 million for the preservation and research. An additional work planned at the site in early 2022 could show what's inside the hull. But far more work is needed to determine whether the ship could ever be pulled out of the mud and put on display, as some have suggested. Okay, whether it can be pulled out of the mud and put on display. James Delgado said, generally, raising is a very expensive proposition, raising it up out of the mud or what have you. My sense is that while it was survived, it is more fragile than people think. A recovery could be a very delicate operation and also a very expensive and lengthy process. Now, freed after the South lost the Civil War. Civil War basically ends April 9th, 1865. General Robert E. Lee surrenders to General Ulysses S. Grant. Freed after the South lost the Civil War, some of the enslaved Africans who were transported to America on the Clotilda Slave Ship settled in a community that they started called Africatown, a few miles north of downtown Mobile, Alabama, and it's still there, Africatown. Africatown, USA. A documentary about the now impoverished community by Alabama filmmaker Margaret Brown, titled Descendant, will premiere at the Sundance Festival in January 2022, and descendants of the Clotilda captives are planning an annual gathering in February 2022. Work is underway on a new museum that's meant to be a catalyst for tourism and new development in the area. Okay, so check out this piece here from CBS News, cbsnews.com, picked up by the Associated Press. This is from December 22nd, 2021. Wreck of the last U.S. slave ship remains mostly intact on Alabama coast, researchers say. National Geographic also has a good article on this topic as well. The piece from National Geographic is, let me go to that one here from National Geographic. Okay, America's last slave ship. This one here. America's last slave ship is more intact than anyone thought. This is from National Geographic, December 21st, 2021. Okay, I guess it has me logged in now in the Google Chrome into my National Geographic account because I'm paying them each month. So, archaeologists studying the Clotilda, which was identified in 2019, say the shipwreck may contain a wealth of well-preserved artifacts from barrels of food to human DNA. So check this one out. National Geographic has a more extensive article in CBS News that they picked up from the Associated Press, but the one from CBS News is still a good piece. All right. Lastly, I have a lot of work to do and I got to edit this video and have a couple commercials to produce. African-American business owners, post name your business here on the thread of the broadcast. We'll go to the story on Diddy in just a second. Email us at TheAHNShow at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. TheAHNShow at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Post the name of your business here as well. And we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Our current promotion is buy 1 month, get 2 months free. And let's see here. Promotions: buy 1 month, get 2 months free, and your commercial will air when we rebroadcast these shows on our social media platforms, and then also in the audio podcast versions of these shows as well. We're on 10 different audio podcast platforms: iHeartRadio, Castbox, FM Player, Stitcher, TuneIn, wherever you get your mainly get your podcast from. All right. And then if you don't have a commercial, we can create one for you as well at no additional charge. All right. I want to go to this last story here dealing with Diddy. I saw this from Black Enterprise. I saw a couple of outlets, yourblackworld.net. We posted an article from yourblackworld.net. Also one from Black Enterprise as well. Okay. And this is a good story. You know, yesterday we dealt with Netflix deposited $100 million into 6 Black-owned banks. And this is money they can use to loan for starting businesses, expanding businesses, buying homes, etc., to help close the racial wealth gap. And this other story here from Black Enterprise. Sean Combs buys back his signature Sean John brand for $7.5 million. $7.5 million. And this is a good story, once again, about economic empowerment and ownership. Owning these businesses, being able to control our culture, profit off of our culture, etc., hip hop culture, things like this. You know, one of the things, if you late at night, you know, like on TV One or some of these other stations, they show these soul music collections, and it's the Isley Brothers and Teddy Pendergrass and the Shy Lights and things like this, right? And it's like Time Life. It's Time Life. It's like a lot of this music we don't own. These are all black artists, but a lot of this music we don't own. These white people still making music, still making money off of these songs made by African Americans, made famous by us, and a lot of this stuff we don't even own. Okay, a lot of them have died. A lot of these artists have died, and white people still making money off of us. So we have to own and control this. Okay, we have to own and control this. Now, this where's that article? Okay, I got to pull this up another way because let's pull up this one here from Black Enterprise. Okay, Sean Combs buys back his signature Sean John brand. This is from Black Enterprise. So he bought it for $7.5 million. He bought it for $7.5 million. And he started it in 1998. So the brand is back in the hands of the original visionary, Sean Combs. Now, this piece is from December 22nd from Black Enterprise. And see if we can zoom in on it some here. Let me turn on the screen share. Okay, Sean Combs buys back his signature Sean John brand for $7.5 million. So the brand is back in the hands of the original visionary, Sean Combs. It has been, and Sean Combs has been able to buy back the fashion brand he started in 1998. He said, "I launched Sean John in 1998 with the goal of building a premium brand that shattered tradition and introduced hip hop to high fashion on a global scale." He said this in a written statement to Black Enterprise. He said, quote, seeing how streetwear has evolved to rewrite the rules of fashion and impact culture across categories, I'm ready to reclaim the ownership of the brand, build a team of visionary designers and global partners to write the next chapter for Sean John's legacy, end quote. Now, according to Women's Wear Daily, the bad Sean John was Diddy Combs able to buy back his company with a winning bid of $7,551,000. Now, earlier this month, December, Sean Combs, the former owner and creator of the Sean John brand, placed a bid of $3.3 million to buy back the assets of Sean John, the fashion and lifestyle brand that Sean Diddy Combs started in 1998. GBG USA Inc. GBG USA Inc. A now bankrupt brand management firm owns 90% of the Sean John brand through a joint venture with Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, Bloomberg reports. Now, although a representative for Diddy decided not to comment, it was reported that an entity affiliated with Sean Combs was named the so-called stalking horse bidder for Sean John, court papers show. Now, potential buyers were able to submit offers up until December 15th, 2021. It was reported that four other parties had also placed their own bids, and an auction was held on Monday, December 20th, with Diddy succeeding in obtaining the brand he started. Now, there were originally 45 potential buyers who were notified that the brand was up for auction. Now, according to court papers, United Ventures LLC placed this bid with a cash purchase of $7.5 million and is now labeled the backup bidder to Sean Combs. Okay, United Ventures LLC. He bid $7,551,000. They bid $7.5 million. There is final approval of Sean Combs' $7.551 million bid that is scheduled at the time this article is written, December 22nd. Now, earlier this year, Black Enterprise reported that Sean Combs sued Sean John for $25 million. The entertainment mogul launched the fashion brand in 1998 and then sold it to Global Brands Group in 2016. However, in a lawsuit filed against the Global Brands Group, Sean Combs states that he never endorsed the line nor given Global Brands Group, Sean John, or misguided authorization to associate his name with the current collection. Okay, in a lawsuit filed against Global Brands Group, Sean Diddy Combs states that he never endorsed the line nor gave Global Brands Group, Sean John, or misguided authorization to associate his name with the current collection. Now, based on quotes used by the companies, it appeared that he was connected to the new Sean John and misguided brand. Okay, the lawsuit has been dropped. So check out this piece here from Black Enterprise. Sean Combs buys back his signature Sean John brand for $7.5 million. This is from blackenterprise.com, December 22nd, 2021. So hopefully there'll be some big things from that. Hopefully he'll employ a lot of African Americans as well. And like I said, you know, these companies, especially dealing with hip hop, whether it's hip hop wear, hip hop gear, whether it's dealing with the music, things like this, we have to own this stuff. A lot of this stuff is owned by white people. Okay, which really don't make any sense because we're the talent. And I mean, all you have to do is look late at night at the soul music collection and all that. I mean, they have some good music. Okay, Me and Mrs. Jones and you know, all these songs, and it's like white people, like Time Warner owns all this stuff. A lot of this music. All right. Okay. The article I talked about before we went to break is one dealing with this is an article I came across a few years ago, and it was dealing with a interview with Bob Law. And Bob Law is on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation on Sundays, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's my lead-in show because I'm on 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Sundays. So this story right here, I just want to go back to this quickly because a lot of people don't know this information or this history. This is from hiphopandpolitics.com. Bob Law, History of Black Radio and the Removal of Black Militant Thought. This is from September 24th, 2014. Okay. Over the past few weeks, Hard Knock Radio has been doing a series of interviews focusing on the state of Black media. Such a series would not be complete without getting some critical insight from longtime freedom fighter and media justice advocate Bob Law. He was the host of Night Talk for a number of years out of, I think it was out of New York, Night Talk, the Night Talk radio show. He is one of the godfathers of black radio and has never wavered in using the airwaves as a tool for liberation. In our conversation, he gives a serious history lesson, not just on the evolution of black radio and the role it has played in the black freedom struggle, but he has also talked to us about how there has been an attempt to remove, silence, and erase any institutional memory of black militant thought, any institutional memory of black militant thought and black militant and radical thought. Bob Law painstakingly details how that has been happening and breaks down the reasons. Bob Law pinpoints much of this removal with the release of the 1972 Harvard report, officially known as Study of the Soul Music Environment. Study of the Soul Music Environment. This was a white paper commissioned by Columbia Records and done by a group of Harvard business students on how to take over. I want everybody to pay attention to this. On how to take over the black independent music scene. Clive Davis, who Diddy used to work for under Arista Records, Clive Davis was the head of Columbia Records at the time. Bob Law details how that report coincided with other reports in film and TV to eradicate, marginalize, and ridicule strident, politicized black voice in the music and entertainment industry. During our discussion, we play an excerpt from a speech given to black music industry executives by Minister Farrakhan in 1979, who makes note of this change. That speech is contrasted with the speech Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave to a similar body of black music industry folks in August 1967, where Dr. King heaped praise on them and emphasized that there would be no civil rights movement had it not been for black radio. There would have been no civil rights movement if it had not been for black radio. And even when you look at the Montgomery bus boycott, one of the ways they organized the Montgomery bus boycott and started Monday morning, December 5th, 1955, over that weekend was on radio, African-American on radio. And then Joanne Robinson, who was president of the Women's Political Council, she printed up about 30,000, 35,000 flyers. And they passed out these flyers to let people know about the bus boycott. It started as a one-day boycott. It ended up lasting 381 days. Now, the organization Dr. King spoke to at the time was called the National Association of Television and Radio Announcers in August 1967. During our interview, Bob Law details what took place after Dr. King gave that speech. He explained that NATRA was destroyed by white industry executives who were concerned about their growing power and political influence, the growing power and political influence of the National Association of Television and Radio Announcers, which is an organization that Dr. King gave a speech to in August 1967. That destruction of NATRA, that destruction and silencing has never stopped. This interview is a serious history lesson from a pioneering figure, Bob Law, who really knows his stuff. So they have the interview on SoundCloud. I pay SoundCloud each month. I need to start uploading my stuff to SoundCloud. Because when I upload it through Blog Talk, they automatically put it on a number of different platforms. SoundCloud is not one of them. I pay SoundCloud separately. But also, when I upload audio podcasts, and I'll be uploading a lot of them this weekend, they upload to our Facebook fan page where we have 1 million followers, okay, on our fan page, The African History Network. So And what I do also for business owners that advertise with us, I also upload your commercial to our Facebook fan page as well to give you added exposure. All right. So check out that article dealing with Bob Law. Okay, if you'd like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. So we're here 6 days a week. This helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills, etc. So it definitely helps because December and January are like very, very slow months. This is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN Show, SHOW. When you go to it, it says Michael and shows my picture there. These other ones here are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. Okay, who said that? Della said, congratulations, Diddy. We just give away our power. Yeah, it's about ownership. We got to own this stuff seriously, create generational wealth. And not for the next generation just to take it and just go crazy with it and just engage in conspicuous consumption, but so we can fund, finance our movements, have control. Power is the ability to define and shape reality and have other people accept your definition of reality as if it were their own. Okay, our talent is creating empires for other people who then take that money and oppress us. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, and also you can register for the online courses I teach on Saturdays and Sundays, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. And we pull this up. We have it here on the homepage of our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Next class is going to be Sunday, December 26th, first day of Kwanzaa, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ancient Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa. Understand the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so we have the website updated, so it's there. And let me change that. That should say 12 p.m. Okay, I was moving quickly. So we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can watch from around the world. You can use this with your children also. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. It's a visual class. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. It's very well documented. You don't have to buy any of the books to follow along in class. We have a bundle pack where you can register for both classes for only $70. It's right on the homepage of our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. As soon as you register, you can start watching the content, and you have access to the full class even after the 10-week online course is over with. Okay. So a year from now, if you want to go back and watch the entire class, you'll be able to do that. So we'll post a link here, and you can join us in our next class. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Harry's our Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa. We'll see you at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. If you want me to do a presentation for the group organization, because the first 3 days of Kwanzaa, I don't have anything scheduled. If you want me to do a presentation in person or virtually for Kwanzaa, Dr. King Day, African American History Month, what have you, email me at AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right. So we're not on live Sunday. The radio station is shut down, of course, for the holidays. We'll be back live Monday. I may do a broadcast during the weekend live or something like that. I probably will, to talk about our Sunday class. I probably will. Okay. So we have to get out of here. Remember, right now is correct. Wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Happy Kwanzaa. And I'll be posting the article that I post each year that I wrote a few years ago dealing with the African origins of Kwanzaa as well. Okay. And at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, we have some of my lectures that I've done the past few years on Kwanzaa also. Let me see. We have that up here. Is that on the homepage? And on the 21st, we dealt with the winter solstice. So the 3-hour lecture I have dealing with the ancient Kemet, the winter solstice, and the history of Christmas. That's at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay, so that's like $10. It's on DVD and digital download format. And then it is one of the 15 lectures in the bundle pack, the Black History Month bundle pack that I have also. That's all at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, right now it's Correct Wrong Behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace.
All African American community. So I enlisted the help of mental health experts, thought leaders, and activists to help kill the ghost of Willie Lynch and heal from post-traumatic slave syndrome.
We experience trauma a lot of times on a subconscious level. So sometimes something happens to us and we know that it's traumatizing, but we don't really recognize the extent of the trauma.
African Spirit Cards specialize in the design and printing of high-quality African-centered note cards and stationery. African Spirit Cards breathes and rejoices in the African and African American experiences. They honor our African heritage in all that they do for you by proudly displaying the great motifs and ornamentations of the African world diaspora. They use African images, African proverbs, and many African languages to fully immerse their clients in the wisdom and history of and the connection to Africa. They understand the importance of having images around us that reflect who we are. These images also illustrate where we came from and what we desire to be. They are here to serve you. Follow them on Instagram at African Spirit Cards, that's African with a K. They have a wide selection. Check out their holiday selection at Etsy.com/shop/African Spirit Cards. That's Etsy, ETSY. You can give them a call at 313-995-3579, 313-995-3579. You can email them at janeldesigns@AfricanSpiritCards.com. That's JANAL designs@AfricanSpiritCards.com and place your order today. Kwanzaa is coming and the KwanzaaShop.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs. Order your Kwanzaa set today, which includes a kinara, candles, a mat, a cup, the African American flag, and a basket. Visit the KwanzaaShop.com, KwanzaaShop.com. They have kinara sets, which include a candle holder, candles, a mat, and a cup. Kwanzaa is December 26th through January the 1st. Add the early bird discount code for 10% off your order placed before November 28th. Visit the KwanzaaShop.com and place your order today. The KwanzaaShop.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs to celebrate this African American Pan-African holiday. The KwanzaaShop.com.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our stories, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30-plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Come and travel with me to a time long ago and place far away. You will experience high adventure and excitement. You are fighting alongside an ancient army in fierce battle. Feel the exhilaration of struggle and final conquest. My name is Maninkore, and I am both a prince and a priest in one of the most advanced civilizations humans have ever produced. I want you to ride with me in my chariot as I slay the barbarians who have come to invade my land. I invite you to sit at the conference table with the great Pharaoh Taharka and his ministers as they plan intrigue and use subterfuge to outmaneuver and defeat the enemy. Come back with me to the land of your ancestors, to the beautiful land of Kemet. So open the pages of this book and begin the adventure. Find out what happens in the book Menenkhare Battles the Assyrians in the Nile Valley from author Makari Jones. Get your copy today at Amazon.com.
Soul in Motion, celebrating 38 years in the arts. This energetic ensemble of dancers and drummers was started by percussionist Michael Friend and is led by choreographer Associate Director Pam Lassiter. Based in the Washington, D.C. area, Soul in Motion is now accepting bookings for Black History Month, Juneteenth, and summer festivals in 2022. Soul in Motion is also available for more intimate events like naming ceremonies and weddings. To find out more or to book your date, call 240-452-1349 or send an email to info@soulinmotion.org. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Soul in Motion, celebrating our history, our culture, our future. Soul in Motion. Theater, African dance, and drumming since 1984.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world, bringing our people together worldwide, controlling our messages, our story, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30-plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Kwanzaa is coming, and the TheAHNShow.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs. Order your Kwanzaa set today, which includes a kinara, candles, a mat, a cup, the African American flag, and a basket. Visit TheAHNShow.com, TheAHNShow.com. They have kinara sets, which include a candle holder, candles, a mat, and a cup. Kwanzaa is December 26th through January the 1st. Add the early bird discount code for 10% off your order placed before November 28th. Visit TheAHNShow.com and place your order today. TheAHNShow.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs to celebrate this African American Pan-African holiday. TheAHNShow.com.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world, bringing our people together worldwide, controlling our messages, our story, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30-plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Come and travel with me to a time long ago and place far away. You will experience high adventure and excitement. You are fighting alongside an ancient army in fierce battle. Feel the exhilaration of struggle and final conquest. My name is Menenkhare, and I am both a prince and a priest in one of the most advanced civilizations humans have ever produced. I want you to ride with me in my chariot as I slay the barbarians who have come to invade my land. I invite you to sit at the conference table with the great Pharaoh Taharka and his ministers as they plan intrigue and use subterfuge to outmaneuver and defeat the enemy. Come back with me to the land of your ancestors, to the beautiful land of Kemet. So open the pages of this book and begin the adventure. Find out what happens in the book Menenkhare Battles the Assyrians in the Nile Valley from author Makari Jones. Get your copy today at Amazon.com. African Spirit Cards specialize in the design and printing of high-quality African-centered note cards and stationery. African Spirit Cards breeds and rejoices in the African and African American experiences. They honor our African heritage in all that they do for you by proudly displaying the great motifs and ornamentations of the African world diaspora. They use African images, African proverbs, and many African languages to fully immerse their clients in the wisdom and history of and the connection to Africa. They understand the importance of having images around us that reflect who we are. These images also illustrate where we came from and what we desire to be. They are here to serve you. Follow them on Instagram at African Spirit Cards, that's African with a K. They have a wide selection. Check out their holiday selection at Etsy.com/shop/African Spirit Cards. That's Etsy, ETSY. You can give them a call at 313-995-3579, 313-995-3579. You can email them at janeldesigns@africanspiritcards.com. That's JANAL designs@africanspiritcards.com and place your order today.
Soul in Motion, celebrating 38 years in the arts. This energetic ensemble of dancers and drummers was started by percussionist Michael Friend and is led by choreographer Associate Director Pam Lassiter. Based in the Washington, D.C. area, Soul in Motion is now accepting bookings for Black History Month, Juneteenth, and summer festivals in 2022. Soul in Motion is also available for more intimate events like naming ceremonies and weddings. To find out more or to book your date, call 240-452-1349 or send an email to info@soulinmotion.org. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Soul in Motion, celebrating our history, our culture, our future. Soul in Motion. Theater, African dance, and drumming since 1984.
Hi, I'm Joel Wilson, President and CEO of JCW Computer Consulting, LLC, a technology implementation firm with over 20 years of satisfying customers. We offer a full spectrum of industry top-tier branded services. We are an authorized partner or reseller for Lenovo, Zoom, T-Mobile, Microsoft 365 and Surface tablets, Google Workspace, Acer, Asus, Samsung, PCmatic security software, and many more. Our online store features laptops, Chromebooks, computers, printers, accessories, and software. Businesses, take advantage of our free 1-hour Zoom tech consultation and know we offer top nationwide high-speed internet service providers, voice over IP, and cellular phone services. Home users, don't miss our current in-stock Chromebook inventory. Please visit us at jcwcc.com or call 215-879-6701.
Gain knowledge in minutes from insightful summaries of progressive and socially conscious books. Blacklisted gives you access to curated content that'll satisfy your curiosity to learn and understand different perspectives. Empower yourself through inspirational and